Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. At least 5 people have been killed and more than 40 injured after a car ploughed into a Christmas parade in the US state of Wisconsin. In an eyewitness video taken by someone filming the parade, a red SUV speeds past. It's then thought to have careered into dozens of people, including a school band. It's thought the number of injured is likely to rise. One person is in custody, and officials say the incident does not appear to be an act of terrorism. The Women's Tennis Association has said that a call between Peng Shuai and the president of the International Olympic Committee does not address its concerns over the Chinese players' well-being. The IOC released a statement after the call with Thomas Bach, saying Peng appeared to be safe and well. And the Chinese Foreign Ministry said she had attended public activities. However, there is increasing concern about the 35-year-old who disappeared from the public eye for almost 3 weeks after she made sexual assault allegations against a senior Chinese minister. Australia, the United States and the UK have all officially signed the nuclear agreement that gives Australia access to nuclear-powered submarine technology for the first time. Australia's Defence Minister, British High Commissioner and the US Charge d'Affaires, Michael Goldman, all signed the documents at Parliament House in Canberra.
This is the first time that the US...
Australia's Prime Minister told reporters it was a hugely significant step. Dubbed AUKUS, the pact initially caused a major bilateral rift, with France recalling its ambassadors from Australia and the United States in protest. A summit between China and the Association of Southeast Asian Nations has been held without a representative from Myanmar. The virtual summit, hosted by Chinese President Xi Jinping, began without a representative from Myanmar, whose military overthrew the democratically elected government in February. The decision is unprecedented for a group of countries that emphasises non-interference in domestic affairs. Austria has returned to a full national lockdown as protests against new restrictions aimed at curbing COVID-19 infections spread across Europe. From midnight, Austrians have been asked to work from home and non-essential shops have closed. Infection rates have risen sharply on the continent, prompting warnings from the World Health Organization. Meanwhile, a partial 3-week lockdown has been imposed in the Netherlands. There have been continued violent protests since the announcement, which means bars and restaurants must close at 8 p.m. and crowds are banned at sporting events. Residents of a flood-ravaged town in western Colombia have salvaged what belongings they could from their homes after a nearby river burst its banks. According to local media, a total of 3,600 families were affected by intense flooding in the town of Medio Baudo. Crops and household belongings have been destroyed, with many of the residents moving to higher ground. Authorities will hold an extraordinary risk management meeting to discuss measures to be taken for the immediate relief of affected residents. Indian farmers have held a mass rally to demand minimum support prices be extended to all produce, not just wheat and rice. The protest movement, launched by farmers more than a year ago, became the most serious political challenge to the Hindu nationalist government and resulted in President Modi making the surprise move to roll back the reforms. Thousands gathered for the latest rally in Lucknow, the capital of Uttar Pradesh, where Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party will seek to hold on to power in state elections next year. After a century and a half hidden away in luxurious private collections and European museums, 13 Ethiopian artefacts have finally returned home following months of private negotiations. Many of the treasures were stolen after a 19th century battle between the British and Ethiopian empires. The items, which include an intricately latticed processional cross, a richly coloured triptych depicting Jesus' crucifixion, and an ornate red and brass imperial shield, are all part of the largest act of restitution in Ethiopia's history. And finally, K-pop band BTS were the big winners at the American Music Awards. The 7-member band from South Korea beat veteran Taylor Swift, rapper Drake and pop singer Ariana Grande for the night's biggest prize, Artist of the Year. Adored by an army of fervent fans, they were also named Favourite Pop Group and won Best Pop Song for their summer hit, Butter. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel Studios in Lagos.